Today we're starting things a little bit in reverse. This is actually the end of our hike. We're very close. We have about a mile and a half to go, and we're on a pretty little bench with a great view. We'll kind of work backwards today. How's that? And we'll take you back through all the thought process of setting mini goals and charting your milestones. Juicy burger myself. I get I guess hiker hunger out here because I craved all that high protein red meat after a hike. I know one time I texted my husband and I'm like, gonna be about an hour and I'm starving and craving a steak, but yeah.
Actually, let's go back even a little bit further to a clip from last week.
It's finally a flat spot, so I've got my breathing back to normal. I've been doing this 3 months plus, only once a week, but I've been doing more and more miles, and you think I would be building up some stamina, and I'm just still feeling very out of shape. Impatient with myself sometimes. I feel overall accomplished because I'm making progress. I feel like I still really labor out here walking. Especially on any level of incline, I feel like I should be improving in that area, at least by now. My left hip tends to be very tender as well. Not sure if I'm favoring it, if I'm leading off with my left foot. I am right-handed, but carry things with my left, use utensils with my left. I have chronic neck and shoulder pain, so I'm aware of that, and I try to balance myself as much as possible. But when it's a habit and you're not thinking about it consciously, then you go right back into your old patterns. Heard about trying to be aware, especially on inclines and declines, to be aware of your leading foot and to be altering those just to keep kind of everything balanced. I guess I need to be aware of that and start making note of it. So today, you can see I'm wearing neon pink, and I guess it was strategic when I picked out which shirt I was going to wear, and I was in a very grumpy mood, and I guess instead of going with a shirt that was dark and drab that was going to match my mood, I picked something that I thought was going to brighten it up. We shall see. Today was one of those days where I just, at home, everything was taking forever, getting me nowhere, and frustrating me, namely YouTube. So I had a lot of struggles with that, and I'm new to it all, so it's a huge learning curve, but yeah, I started out pretty annoying, spent hours seeming to get nowhere, so I decided I was done with that, and I was gonna get somewhere today, so I needed to get out of my head and into my hike to change things. But I did start off, I guess it was the moon. I'm already out of breath, and I'm only probably 2 miles in. I kind of started out a little aggressive, maybe just to try to burn off some of that negative energy. So anyway, I'm gonna flip the camera to Ella. It's kind of hung up, so some of the branches, the thinner ones at the top, are probably gonna get caught, but that right there, yeah. I went a little bit of a different detour, so probably looking at an 8 mile today. We'll see. I always tend to get it wrong. at the end of it, you come home even on those challenging days and you feel accomplished. Even if you did struggle, you're exhausted, but you're revived in a different way, if that makes sense. Just about ready to unfurl. We're going that way. Okay, going that way. And that way. Where are we going next? So instead of coming off of a really challenging hike like last week and focusing on some of the negative things, the sorenesses, the tired exhaustion, the hip pain, and possible blisters, calluses on the toes, I chose instead to really look at it as a challenge and reward myself for hitting a milestone, hitting a really good accomplishment. Kind of like a mind state, you know, where you take the challenge and instead of letting it look as a difficult time, you look at it as a learning opportunity, so that you can improve on your next hike and the hike after that and the hike after that. So. And have a plan in motion to learn what is causing potentially some of those discomforts. What can I do to remedy or ease some of those discomforts? And then come back. That encourages me instead of discourages me to come back out and put those theories into practice. So far, not starting out too aggressively, too fast, slow and steady. Pace yourself, really. Those are all good cliches. When you even have a tough day, look at it as a challenge more so than a struggle and difficulty, and take stock. Look at the things that weighed you down a little bit that day, whether it's your pace or sore spots, tender spots, and think about what possibly you could do to even research it, or to try, when you do research it, come up with some ideas, an action plan, and then that instead of next time being discouraged to go back and experience that part of the hiking, you'll be more like motivated and encouraged rather than discouraged to go out and try out some of those strategies that you came up with. A great place to log them while they're fresh in your mind is in your journal. Very simple. It can be like a bullet style journal. Are you coming up because you hear the gunshots? Sorry. You can come up. Come on, you can do it. Even in your phone, if you don't have a formal journal, I would recommend when you get back to the car, just creating a note of, you know, what you want to try the next time. I gotta take this. This is what's happening. You probably hear the gunshot, and now it's, of course, as I get the camera out, it gets very windy. So those are the lessons that I came up with while I was out here, and I keep thinking. Important to set goals, but also be aware of the fact that if you set them too aggressively, you're going to hit burnout and discourage yourself. So it's better to start with the smaller miles and increase them gradually, which is what I did. 2 miles, 2.5 miles, 3 miles. Beginning of the year, I was probably maybe at 4, 3 to 4. Starting out in the winter, in January, and I just kind of mentally looked at each month as a goal of maybe a 1/2 to 1 mile increment. So slowly each month I focused on those till that felt comfortable. Still invigorating, but doable, and charting those milestones kind of helps to solidify those goals. Now walking with my shadow. Hopefully we don't trip the shadow. Speaking of goals, the printable that I'm including is my hiking stats and milestones. And this one looks like this. It's more of a log style to chart your progress and goals for your hiking. You can see it tangibly and in a really quick glance where you've come and where you're at now, so you can see your progress. And since it's in a chart form, Pages, Word, even Excel, design it, put ones in that you like, add ones that you don't see here that you want to put in, or use it as is. So miles that you hiked on your favorite trail. I picked, say, 5 of your trails, list the trail, and then keep a tally of how many miles that you've gone. Your first vista, where you've seen it, your first night hike, total number of sunsets and sunrises that you've seen on the trail, and then your first one as well, so that you can log it and then do a tally, number of times that you got lost, which that's probably the highest one for me. And then as far as progress, the number of days that you've hiked under 5 miles, 5 to 10 miles, which is where I am, and the number of days going up from 10 to 15, and if you're really crazy and aggressive, 20 plus consecutive hikes. And these are kind of cool because you can see progress, listing your first entry. So where are you at in the beginning, and then your current best. Write these in pencil. That way this part, you're gonna keep updating it, erasing and updating it as you go, but you'll always be able to see where you started, so you see how far you've grown. And there's some other ones like that. Your gear weight for summer and winter, your current best, most miles that you hiked in a week, your first and then your best, longest mileage in a day, best pace. So if you do any kind of, again, trail tracker, they list your average pace, which is interesting to see how you've progressed. I have some, the log ones are like your wildlife spotted on trail, so you can keep all of them listed in I made a bigger box. Your highest elevation logs, the states that you hiked in, you can include all of those. And then the very last section, I left probably about 10 open for you, so you could add your own in there as you go. You might want to even just fold this up and put it right in with one of your journals, put in that pocket section. It's a great place to see how far you've come, and so those days where you feel like I really should be further, I'm not reaching my goals or where I want to be right now, but if you look back and you can see how far you've progressed little by little, yeah, it kind of gives you a little bit of a boost and a motivation to get back out there and keep going.